All right, I am here with Ofunne Amaka, the founder of Cocoa Swatches and Bear, period. I'm so excited to chat with you today about the booming beauty industry and the role you play in it, which I think is so incredible because it's all about inclusivity and making sure the melanated girls have what they need.
Okay.
I need that. Thank you for doing that.
Representation, all the things.
Yes. Now I have to ask you, first off, how did you create and curate Cocoa Swatches? What did you want to do with this first brand that you created?
Yeah, so, I was, an intern in New York,
Yes.
and I did not have a lot of coin, right? As a lot of New Yorkers that are trying to hustle don't.
I know about that.
So, I was trying to be smart with my money, and I was always trying to look online, look on Google. I'll be in Dwayne Reed, what does this blush look like on dark skin? And I could never find any kind of information. And so I was like, I wish I could just have a place where all of these just photo swatches were just in one place, and I could just go and and also share. So I started this hashtag on Instagram back when hashtags used to kind of be a thing. We missed that. But I was like, let me just start this hashtag, and everyone can use the hashtag and just contribute. It really started off as a community thing of I want to share, and I want other people to share, so we can all have this information because we all need it. And so that's just how it started. It was I wanted just a place to aggregate all this information for people. And once I started to do that and learn myself, I was able to actually start sharing more.
I love that. I love that the community started growing because you saw a need. You saw the reality, especially before Fenty, which we'll get into later because I think we got to big them up. They changed the game. But before that, we had nowhere to really experiment.
Right.
And makeup is expensive. So
the very expensive.
We needed
people
your
don't
page.
Understand.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So thank you for starting that. And inclusivity is a word that we use a lot these days. But when you first started the brand, I'm sure your mission was around inclusivity. In practice, what did that look like for you, and why does it still matter to have a brand that's about inclusivity today?
Yeah, so I always say inclusivity is 360 because I think that it's not just what we see in front of the cameras, right? I very much am in this beauty world. I started off wanting to be in fashion, so I was very much aware of this buzzword of representation, inclusivity, and what people think it means. And people think that means stick a black model in a sea of 4 or 5 white ones, and that's representation, right? Or even hair representation, right? We want to see people with 4C hair textures, and all of that is definitely important. But I started to realize it's not just about what these campaigns, these beautiful things that we see look like. It's also about our shopping experience. What are why is only the pink shades called nude, for example, but the brown shades aren't, right? These are very kind of microaggressions that we don't think about, but they matter in a shopping experience for someone that looks like you or I, right?
Yes.
Who's making the decisions? Who is the director of marketing, director of finance, the person who puts the money, who creates the displays in the Sephora once you actually go to, there's so many different things where we also need to be represented and where inclusion needs to happen. And so that is what my mission is. It's not only to shed light on hey, there's actually products out there for us. It's who are the people that actually are helping create them? Who are the cosmetic chemists there are black cosmetic chemists that we need to be uplifting. So there's just a lot that goes into it.
I love that.
I'm about all of it.
I love that you know so much because there's so many of us that don't really have the time to research it. We just have the time
to buy.
Look cute and buy it,
and
right?
We love that.
And we need that. But we need people to know that there are black chemists making these products, and then there are black girls and black women who care to make sure that the work is done.
Right.
So thank you for doing that. And I know Bear period is out here, and we're gonna get into some of that right now because I wanna try on all the Bear period products. There's swatching. Can you actually break down what swatching is before we get into our fun swatching experience?
Yes. So essentially, you think of a swatch a paint swatch, right? It's you want to see what that true color is. When we think about painting a house, there's white, but then there's eggshell white, and there's all these taupey white, right? So when you swatch something on someone with a lighter complexion, it's going to look different than someone with a darker complexion. And so back when I first started, brands were promoting their products with swatches, but they would never include a darker arm, right? The color theory, whatever you want to call it, can show you that what a color looks like on a lighter skin tone is gonna look completely different on a darker skin tone. And so that is why like it's just literally like what, if I'm looking for a red, I need to see what kind of red, right? Yes. You might say this is a universal red, but like, is it really universal? You know, so the swatch just kind of helps you say like, okay, this has actually a blue undertone, this has a warmer undertone. And so you can kind of just really quickly tell if this is what you want or what you don't want.
Okay, I love this. I love, now y'all got the official breakdown of swatching, and we're about to show you what it's like to swatch. So you ready?
Yes, okay, always ready.
Okay, we are here about to start our swatching experience.
Yes, the fun part.
I can't wait. We've got your Bare gloss set, your Bare period gloss set, and we're about to swatch. But just so the folks know, take me through a Spark Notes version of what swatching is.
Okay, so really quick, it's literally just what does a color look like on a surface. So like you can see here, we have a black surface and we have a white surface. And when you swatch on a surface, you can see here that the color that you're swatching on is really gonna dictate what the product looks like. So on a black, you know, a darker, a more melanated skin tone, you're gonna see different undertones, you're gonna see just a different color story altogether. And when you're on the lighter side, a little lighter skin tone, you're gonna see also different colors. So really, the skin tone you swatch on, what you actually swatch on is really gonna tell you what type of makeup you're looking for.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you now have created a couple of gloss colors that work for every melanated girl.
Right.
I love that. So we're gonna walk through some that might look good on my skin today.
We definitely got some for you.
Yeah. So where do we want to start?
So why don't we start? So let me just kind of describe kind of what we have here. So I've created 4 custom shades that are meant to basically encompass and complement all the complexions in the African diaspora. And I am Nigerian, so I have like numbered the shades from darkest to lightest in both English and my Nigerian native language, which is Igbo. So, you know, we just gonna connect everybody and we just gonna have some fun. And I'm from the Bay Area, so we got the Bay Area, got the Nigeria, and you know, yeah, we're just gonna have some fun. So, I have picked out 2 shades for you. Okay. So what I like to say about these glosses, and the great thing about them is that they are very much multi-use. So if you're a gloss gal like me, you know, you like to mix, you like to match, you like to pair things together. So first, let's start off with like a darker color. This is number 2, and it is Ibois in Igbo. Actually, is this number 2? No, it's not. Sorry.
There you go. We're gonna start that again.
So this is number 2, which is Ibois. That's 2 Ibois in Igbo. And so this is gonna be kind of like a muted purpley brown, and it's like if you want that kind of 90s look, it'll be good to put all over the lip. But for you, let's start off like a lip liner. So just you're gonna open it up and you're just gonna basically just line your lips with this shade.
This is so nice.
Yeah, so thank you. So yeah, it's a little dark, but don't be scared because it's all right. Gloss is very forgiving. Yes. So just kind of line the lips, and then you can kind of just do like a little lip action, and you can kind of see it's kind of giving you some dimension, right?
Look at you.
Yeah, and so like it's really easy. It's really something you could just put in your purse. You know, you can go from the office to drinks.
And it smells good.
Period. Period. Okay. And so then what I like to do, I like dimension. So I like wearing, you know, for every day you could pick a gloss that's like your everyday gloss, but when I'm doing a little bit more glam, we can pair some together. So this is number 3, Etat. It's like a deep kind of peach. I think this one will be perfect for you for like an all over color. But today you can like kind of put it in the center. So you've got that darker shade on the perimeter, and then you can put that lighter shade in the center.
And I love that like the product is not sticky.
Yes.
But it's pigmented.
Right.
And it's like there, like you know you have it on.
Exactly.
And I smell like shape.
It's kind of like vanilla. Yeah. It's kind of like got a little vanilla scent going on. But yeah, there you go. Period. Your little nude lip.
I am there. And swatch. Come on, black woman. You did that. Now, getting into the fashion game is one thing, but the beauty game is a whole nother, you know, ball game. And I think when we think of women that changed the game in beauty, we have to talk about Rihanna.
Of course.
I mean, when she introduced the Fenty Beauty line, she gave us shades upon shades upon shades, and the whole beauty industry followed after, which I think is so dope. But again, why is it so important for us to have a range of shades and for the beauty industry to make sure that they supply that?
Right. So the Fenty effect is so like interesting to me because it's like Rihanna really did change the game in more ways than one. Not only did she give us shades, but like she promoted those shades, right? So I kind of talked about earlier that like that marketing, that like the fact that I couldn't look up what a makeup product looked like on a deeper skin tone was difficult. And the funny thing is that there were some brands that had 40 shades before Fenty, but they weren't talking about them, right? We didn't know that they existed. And Rihanna was like, I'm gonna let y'all know that we're here, right? And so it's like, not only am I gonna give you the shades, I'm gonna give you these beautiful, people in the campaign, and just like, you were getting all the feels from Fenty from day one. And so I think that it's important for us to have those shades because for darker skin tones too, we often have like more than one kind of shade in our face. Like our perimeter's a lot darker and the center's a little bit lighter. So sometimes, we'll find ourselves mixing and matching and pairing, and so our undertones are also different. It's just like a lot of things that go into making sure that our skin tones are represented correctly. And I think in the past, those attempts were often lazy. There was like a lot of red, a lot of orange. You look at like photos from the 90s, you see some of our favorite models, our icons, they're not looking, not looking the best in the complexion department. And so I just think trying to match those shades, and again, like referencing this, it's like, it's so different to make products with this in mind, right? When you make products with this in mind, you're gonna come out with something completely different. And if you're not actually testing, swatching, talking, learning about how deeper complexions work, you're not going to come out with things that actually will match us. And so I think she did that, and it really did set the tone and make everyone step up.
Everybody stepped up. Right afterwards, everyone was now making sure that women of color, Black women, were centered.
Right.
All the campaigns
centered.
had
that is the word.
all of our shades all of a sudden. So shout out to Rihanna. And I'm sure they were looking at your brand as well, Cocoa Swatches, to make sure like, okay, so these are the girls that aren't being served.
Right.
And so I love that you did that.
Yeah.
But this episode is also about wellness and self-esteem and just like inner light. And sometimes we realize that, sometimes we feel our best when we have makeup on. Now, for the people who are balancing, I want to feel just as good when I am barefaced than when I have a full beat. What are some ways to make sure that you are making sure your self-esteem is not just connected to how you look when you're beat?
Right. That's a great question. I think that, self-love is like again, all these buzzwords, but it does take a lot of work, right? Like I personally stopped taking pictures with filters because I think that it messes with you, right? Like you start to think like, oh, but I look so good in the picture, and then like all my memories, like I started noticing that like I look back at some of my memories from my Snapchat days. I don't know if I can say that, but Snapchat days, and they're all filtered. Yeah. So it's like I think like getting used to what you look like and like being okay with it, like take those like I kind of am like into like the Gen Z now, where we're going back to the Facebook days where you just take the pictures and post them right away. Spit it out. We don't care. Not trying to make them perfect, And so I think getting just used to like that organic kind of life again is really important and really helps with that, because I think of makeup as like my favorite way to think of it is as adornment. And I think when you use the word adornment, there's a lot of love in that, right? It's about celebrating. It's not about covering. It's about embracing. And so when you look at it like that, you're already whole as you are. You're just loving yourself a little more, or like using it as a way to celebrate yourself in special occasions. And so I think it's a mindset thing. I'm not gonna lie though, it does take work. I think it's important to be honest about that, because we live in the world where we have so many images and so many things that are being thrown at us. And so I think it's just, doing a little bit of work, saying those affirmations, putting those post-it notes on the mirror, do what you have to do, taking those no makeup selfies, and realizing that you are beautiful just the way you are. It's just, these are just adornments. They're just things to have fun with.
These are just ways to enhance those features for when you want to.
Exactly.
I love that. Exactly. I love that. And you've helped others discover what works for them with this brand, Bare, period. And even just now, I know, you know, what lip I can wear. I know that I didn't realize gloss could be liner. I love that. I think that is so, it's such an exciting, innovating way to show how beauty can be used in different ways. But there's a lot of girls that want to start beauty brands and have no idea where to start, or think it's oversaturated. And a lot of people who want to get into the beauty arena. What is one of the things that you always tell people about where to start if you want to create a brand like yours?
I think definitely having like that North Star, right? Like, I think I very much am dedicated to celebrating Black women. Like, it's very much ingrained within everything that I do. It is my goal, from cocoa swatches to Bare, period. Like, that is my North Star, and so everything that I do is going to revolve around that. And so if you want to get into beauty, I think it is saturated, but there also are a lot of like gaps, like right, like, and right now I'm trying to fill a gap, because I think I get collections of new glosses all the time, and all of them look like this light shade right here. Like, it'll be like 10 variations of this, and you know, I love this shade, but like, I need some of the browns, I need some of the, you know, the darker shades.
Look at the difference.
Like, literally, like we need, you can see it here, you can see it there, like, you know, and so it's like, once you get into beauty, there are some gaps, and that's with product, that's with like even just like psychographically, like the girl that needs something that they can get up and go with, but also if they want to get glam, they can have that too. Like, so it's just knowing like, what is your North Star? Who do you want to talk to? Because I think it's very easy to think like, oh, you know, everybody loves beauty, I'm just gonna get everybody. But you know, there's different type of beauty lovers. There's beauty lovers that just want, you know, just a skin tint and a lip gloss, and that's perfectly fine. There's people that want a full beat like me, and so you know, there's different people who want different things. So I think just identifying that, and you know, you'll be fine.
I love that. Well, y'all better identify what y'all need out here, because it sounds like you also answered what you needed, and I think that's such a beautiful thing, a beautiful place to start too. It's like you can answer and say, hey, this doesn't have a representation of me, who I am personally, and now there's hundreds of thousands of people that know how to answer for themselves because of you. I love this. I love this so much. I had such a great time swatching, and we were talking about affirmations. Are you an affirmation girly?
I am. I need to be better at it, but I definitely am. Like, in my head, I'm a journaling, manifesting affirmations person, you know. So they do help. They do help.
Well, as we wrap, let's do like a beauty affirmation. In the mirror, because I think that's really important to do. And I also think that when you put on your makeup, you become, you know, a little more awakened, alive. So you go first, and then I'll go.
What's my affirmation?
What is it? Whatever comes to you.
So something that I like to tell myself whenever I get nervous, whenever, you know, I'm feeling a little anxious, and I just like, I am a person worth knowing. So we are people worth knowing. I am a person worth knowing.
I love that. Oh, I really now I want to say that too. I'm a person worth knowing. I am beautiful with makeup, without makeup, but especially from the inside out.
Period.
I love this.
I love it.
Well, thank you, girl.
Thank you.
I had so much fun talking to you. I feel like I learned so much. Now I can go start in the world with my Bare.
Yes.
I'm gonna wear this all day.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that people know another Black woman-owned beauty brand.
Yes.
Bare, y'all.
Yes, we out here.